Hey, imagine you're about to drop a serious chunk of cash on a gaming laptop and you're stuck between I want desktop level power and I need something I can actually take to a coffee shop. I've been digging through forums, watching a ton of Hansen videos, and scrolling through those long-form reviews that people hide in the comments, just to figure out whether the Acer Predator Helios 18 lives up to its hype or ends up as a pricey paperweight. If you're on the fence, the link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The first thing most people worry about with a machine that big is heat. An 18-inch chassis packed with an Intel Ultra 9275HX, 32GB of DDR5, and a 400W power brick is basically a mini desktop. In real-world testing, the Helios 18 holds its temperature steady during marathon sessions of Apex Legends and Cyberpunk 2077. The fans spin up to a noticeable whine, but they keep the CPU and GPU from throttling even after 2 hours of sustained 1080p ultra-high settings. That's a practical strength. You can game for longer without the sudden FPS drops you see on thinner, lower-power laptops. The downside is the fan noise. In a quiet room, the fans become a background hiss that can drown out in-game audio cues if you're not using headphones. If you plan to game in a shared apartment or a dorm, you'll either need a good pair of headphones or be prepared for the acoustic trade-off. Now, let's talk about the screen because this is where the Helios 18 really tries to set itself apart. The 18-inch mini-LED panel is WQXGA 25601600 and pushes 250 Hz. That combination makes for a buttery smooth experience in fast-paced shooters, and the 1000 nits brightness means HDR content looks punchy even in a sunlit CAF. In practice, I found the color accuracy to be solid out of the box for gaming, though it leans a bit toward a saturated look that some content creators might want to calibrate. The size is a double-edged sword. You get a truly immersive field of view, but the laptop's footprint makes it a little unwieldy on cramped desks. If you prioritize a massive, high-refresh display and you have the space for it, this screen will feel like a win. If you need a laptop that slides easily into a backpack, you might be better off with a 15-inch model. Battery life is another hot topic that many buyers overlook until the power brick is in hand. The Helios 18 ships with a 96Wh4 battery, which sounds generous, but under full performance load it drains at roughly 10% per minute. In real-world use, say, a 30-minute gaming session followed by a quick YouTube binge, you'll be looking at 1 to 2 hours before you're forced back to the wall. The UP-style power adapter is robust, but it also adds bulk. The 400W PSU is not something you'll want to lug around. For a gamer who expects to play on the go, this laptop is more of a power station you bring to a friend's house rather than a truly portable device. Storage and connectivity are pretty straightforward but worth noting because they affect your daily workflow. A 1TB PCIe NVMe SSD gives you lightning-fast load times for massive game libraries, and the extra space means you won't have to constantly prune older titles. The Helios 18 also includes 2 USB-C 3.2 ports, a full-size HDMI 2.1, and an S-card reader, which means you can hook up an external monitor for a dual-screen setup or use that included DockStorm USB hub to expand peripheral connections. In real life, I found the HDMI output works well with a 4K TV, but you'll need to dial down some graphics settings to maintain those high frame rates on a larger display. Who should buy this laptop? If you're a serious gamer who wants desktop-level performance without building a tower, and you also value a massive, high-refresh screen for competitive play, the Helios 18 checks those boxes. It's also a solid choice for streamers who need that raw horsepower to encode video on the fly while keeping the game running smoothly. The price point is high, but when you compare it to a similarly spec'd desktop, especially when you factor in a monitor, a decent PSU, and a cooling solution, the cost gap narrows. In short, if you were already planning to buy a high-end GPU, a monitor, and a separate cooling rig, this laptop could be a more convenient all-in-one package. Who should skip it? If you're on a tighter budget, you'll find better value in a 15-inch gaming laptop with a slightly lower refresh rate but similar CPU/GPU combos. Also, if you travel frequently and need a laptop that fits into a small bag, the size and the need for a hefty power brick make the Helios 18 a less practical companion. And if you're a content creator who relies on color accuracy for photo or video work, you might prefer a laptop with a factory-calibrated display or the ability to easily attach a color-accurate external monitor. A practical weakness that shows up repeatedly in community discussions is the weight. At around 3.5 kilograms, 7.7 pounds, it's a beast to carry upstairs or onto a